presently and she thinks that she will not have a property in the future. But if you started setting aside that 10%. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, all we have been learning here today is how to be effective in an organization. And most of the things, the advantage I have is that a lot of them have talked before me, so they have made my work very easy. We are hoping that by the time you leave this place, wherever you are, whether you are starting your own business or you are an employee in an organization, you will be more effective. Agree? Yes. But what does it mean to be effective? That's a question we need to ask ourselves. Is there anybody who can tell me what it means to be effective, either for yourself or for the organization you work for? Anybody? We can take it from there. Anybody else, please? Then we can hand over. Yes. So what is it you are doing?
What I mean by effective is whatever you are doing, you should be able to do it in an efficient way to the satisfaction of yourself and whoever you are working for.
All right. That's part of the answer. But is there the other person? Do you have anything different?
Effectively, discipline yourself or refine yourself in such a way that you produce greater results.
No, please. Can you give me so everybody can hear you?
I said to be effective means to discipline or redefine yourself in such a way as to create greater impact or results.
Greater impact. All right, the other person, I would like to see him so that all of them have part of the answers. You know, in the situation of an elephant and a blind person, whatever you thought, you think that's what it is. By the time we assemble the whole.
Being proactive in what you are doing. If, for example, there's an issue in the office,
being proactive in what you are doing. Well, I'm going to take it from there. Oh, you want to? Okay, please. Can you come to this place? Eh? Oh, we didn't hear a lady come in, so it's not appropriate to have a lady speak. Just hold on a moment, so they'll give you the microphone.
Being effective is achieving set goal or getting things done.
Beautiful. That's exactly what I was going to. There's something all of us must accept. When you are going into an organization, I think it was Chinwe that mentioned it, you must have your own personal goals. You can't get into an organization without having your personal goals. And then when you get into the organization, you must understand the goals of the organization. So that being effective means helping to achieve the goals of the organization and then achieving your own goals. Are we agreed? All right. Now the question is, if we do all this training, personal development, is that sufficient to be effective? Do you think it's sufficient to be effective? Is there anybody who can, yes please? That is, you undergo training. Training has two aspects. The formal training you get, whether it's you've been in the university, the formal training the company puts you through, and the encouragement we have been given now in terms of you must also undertake personal development. Now, if you do all this and you are working hard in the organization, would that make you effective? No, please, can you pass on the listen to her so she can say?
I think it will make you effective up to the point that you are applying all that you have learned to achieve the expected results.
All right. Well, this is where I come in, office politics. And the question is to play or not to play. All right. I am going to use my own personal experience to be able to explain. And I'm not going to tell you to play or not to play. All of us are going to reach a conclusion at the time we finish. Should we play or should we not play? One of the things we misconceive about office politics is a lot of people think it's gossip. A lot of people think it is going up, and what's the term for it? Going up to your boss, trying to yourself. Is that what office politics is? But that's what we think. You know, we are condescending in office politics. All of us look at it, look down on it. And again, my personal experience is going to tell you, whether I did it right or I did it wrongly. All right, I'll tell you about my personal experience, and then from there I can then go to office politics. I studied civil engineering. I had a bachelor's of engineering in civil engineering. I studied structural engineering as a master's degree. And I studied PhD, nearly completed it. But I said, this is not a place to be. Because if I had done the PhD, where would I end up? Lecturing. That's where I was. So I went on and took an MBA. So in effect, I was equipped, wasn't it? Except for the training. And of course, I came to Lagos believing that I was going to join a good place, and I went through small places, and eventually I joined Guarantee Trust Bank. One of the things that Guarantee Trust Bank that was recommended me to Guarantee Trust Bank was simply the fact that Guarantee Trust Bank had a training program. You had this issue about that you have to undertake a minimum of 2 trainings in a year or more. So, and in the small places I had done, and as an engineer, then, somebody said here that he had thrown away his engineering. Let me go back a bit so that please, when, we have a lot of young people here who haven't started on their jobs. We also have a lot of young people who are beginning on their jobs. And then we have people who have been on the job. When he answered the question and said, you need not to go to NSC to register. When you are young, you do not really know where you're going to. You keep progressing, and moving up until you finally clear yourself. So if you can, please, not because I'm an engineer, you can register with the Nigerian Society of Engineers. So here we have it. Trained well, got into Guarantee Trust Bank after doing all these things and believing in myself. So I didn't think office politics was for me. I looked down on office politics. Well, I did the first part and left. Then I came back the second part, and I was posted to Southeast region. And as usual, when you are going to a place, the first thing you do is to find out from anybody that knows the place, how is it like? Who do you think among all the people that I was going to be meeting that I should be careful about, or somebody I should work with, or somebody I should deal with? Please, when I'm saying all these things, note them because we're going to encounter them in the things I'm going to say. And that's when they recommended Oji Udemezue to me. He's one of the people in that place. They didn't call him Oji Udemezue, they called him Mazi. Now, most of you are not Igbo people, so you may not understand the implications of Mazi. If you ask a young Igbo man what Mazi means, he'll tell you it's Mr. That's not what it means. You are a person to be respected. Here I was going to the east. I was going to practically be his boss in the distance. In one of the places I was going to oversee. And they were telling me that the guy was Mazi. Well, so when he called me up for this training, remember, right inside my head has been born the fact that this is Mazi. Was I going to answer or not? All right, so we'll go. Now we understand the background of the thing. Oh, let me tell you also a little bit so you can understand. When I then finished in Owerri, overseeing Southeast. I came back to start real estate in the head office of the bank. And I was reporting to an executive director who was reporting to deputy managing director. And you had then the managing director. You know, again, I was condescending. Good education. Believing myself I was intelligent. So, should I play office politics? I need to deliver. Please, I'm not telling you stories for this. I'm just trying to walk you up to where it's necessary for us then to answer the question that is posed. To play or not to play. Bear it in mind. So I started believing a bit of resolve, and again, my confidence was enhanced. And I was sitting beside one nice lady in the office. And then our deputy managing director then was a very difficult person. I'm sure everybody who gets to encounter him is unique in his own way. He's now the managing director of the Antitrust Bank. Unique. But I would then whisper what is wrong with that guy? Foolish man. You understand? I didn't know that as I was saying the thing, the lady was downloading all the things to. Again, back to the question. Are you going to be effective if you deliver results only because you are working hard and you know you are listening? Is it? Are you going to be effective? All right. So, having downloaded all these things, the man who used to help me about delivering results suddenly became somebody I found it difficult getting along, let's say it that way. Which is what ended up to my eventually going to GT Homes. Because here was the then managing director of the Antitrust Bank who liked real estate. And here was the deputy managing director as he was, who didn't like real estate. So, and I was supposedly a guru with real estate. Now, I'm going to come back to, there's something that Belgore said, that he's not recommended, real estate is something for the big boys. I don't think so. I will also make a point, recommend to you a book. He mentioned it without naming the book. The book is The Richest Man in Babylon. And that's the person the book that says, before you do anything, pay yourself. Okay? You keep setting aside the money. The reason why I'm in mortgage banking now is because I believe the greatest asset anybody can have is a roof over his head. Abi? It's real estate. And the only way you can achieve it is if you had been setting aside, especially look at the young lady that's probably started her job recently and she thinks that she may not have a property in the future. But if you started setting aside that 10% increasingly, somewhere along the line, you will be able to do it. But back to where we are. So, I then got sent to GT Homes. And sometime in 2011, Sanusi, as he was then, decided that, well, banks must be commercial banks or they must be holding companies. Unfortunately for me, the managing director then of the Antitrust Bank died. And I was confronted with this gentleman who was... Now the question was, we were two of us that came from the Antitrust Bank to GT Homes. The other one elected to go back. Did I have a choice? Again, to take it back to a bit of the office politics. I'm not saying play the game into being able to go and be doing eye service to your, but we'll come back to it. All right? So now that we are here, some of the things that people view office politics as that it involves the use of power by people in authority, is it? One thing that all of us are guilty of, I'm going to come to it also here. Politics is something that inevitably, I like what Ken said, Ken Opera. He said, if you don't do something, something will what? If you don't do something, so we'll get there. Some other people think is that it can never be positive. They condescend, which was my position, wasn't it? How can I? BSc engineering, MSc engineering, near PhD, MBA, me play politics? It can be. So, other people think it is usually played with a specific purpose in mind. Most of the time, that purpose is sinister. After all, the lady I was telling that man is stupid was downloading it to, isn't it office politics what she was playing? Sinister, isn't it? Alright? And then people think it differs from boss to subordinates or to colleagues. Office politics. Then people think office politics only consists, gossip. After all, it affected me. Manipulations, backstabbing, issues, and the games that people play. Is it correct? So far, where we have gotten to, is it correct? Yes. It is. Oh boy. All right. I will get to something we need to understand. We are human beings. Well, I don't know. Okay, let me also walk back. I'm a Christian, and there's a saying Jesus said. Jesus said, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name." All right, so I'll paraphrase that. In human societies, in social settings, where 2 or 3 people are gathered, I politics. Please, let me repeat. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, or more, I politics. Why do I think so? It's not me. There are several theories of how human intelligence developed. I will take only 2. Social brain hypothesis. And the significant aspect of this is what is called the theory of the mind. Theory of the mind. Because I am going to Olayinka, I'm going to be dealing with Olayinka, I must understand what Olayinka is thinking. Abi? And I must find a way to influence what Olayinka is thinking in my favor, correct or not? Yes. So, my intelligence must develop to be able to do that. That's theory of the mind. Is that clear to all of us? Yes. Alright. So if we are in a gathering, whether it is 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, shouldn't we be trying to influence what other people are thinking about us and how we are going to be? Correct or not? That's one. You can read the other ones there, but let me also come back to another reason why human intelligence developed. It is called the ecological dominance social competition model. And I'll take the last slide in there. I hope all of you are seeing it. Yes? Yes. All right. The last line says, the primary selective pressure for increasing human intelligence was due to competition among members of groups of our own species. What does it mean? Whether you like it or not, once I'm in a group with you, I am automatically competing with you. Do we understand? Yes. How are we doing so far? Can we now answer the question? Not yet, though. Not yet. So you see that we are naturally wired to play politics. And let me repeat. So, Ben Akaneme that came into the Indigenous Bank believing that the guy was effective in terms of the value, had gotten all the education and got all the training. Was I doing well? You will see, of course, I've told you about the bit of the impact on me. All right. Now, what is the definition of office politics? I put a lot of things there, but I was surprised. No. Leave out the last two. The first two. It is nothing but strategies to be effective in whatever setting you are. When we even look down on the politics of Nigeria, what are they doing? That moving up to that place to then become how to lead Nigeria, correct or not? To deliver goals. If you get into an organization, no matter how well you do in terms of delivering results, if you then do not evolve strategies that will enable you work with the people that you are surrounded with, either cooperatively or competitively, would you be effective? Now, people have answered. So, effectiveness can only be effectiveness, not because you are delivering results, correct or not? Yes. Well, simply because you have to engage the people you are working with, either cooperatively or competitively, in order to deliver results. Should I go further? That's what it is. But there is negative office politics. Negative office politics. The one the lady did to me, I'm not saying what she did is wrong, please. I'm not trying to. People see politics different ways. You know, Trump has decided that whenever you mention Obama's name, he must get apoplectic. He's playing politics, isn't it? It is how you choose. But is that the best way to do? Alright? So, then there is the good office politics. And one important word about good office politics is networking. Which is the whole thing about politics. I need to work with the people that I find myself in office. There's something you must know about an office, whether it's the office is yours alone or the office is that's where you spend the most of your life until you retire. I get to my office by typically 7:30, and I don't leave till about 8. Then I live in Bagada. I drive because of traffic, maybe I spend 1 hour coming, 1 hour going. Yeah? 7:30, if you take 7 o'clock, 7:30 to 8 o'clock is 12 hours, isn't it? 13 hours. Then I spend 2 hours extra, 15 hours. Then I must sleep a minimum of 6 to 7 hours. 21 hours. So where should I focus my entire? Don't worry about the ladies, in terms of attention would the man deliver. Devote to his wife, and if you are a woman, what you devote to. Inevitably, that's what it is. So, shouldn't you pay a bit of attention in terms of the people you work with and deal with while you're in office? Shouldn't that attention be issues of interacting with them in a, yes, cooperative and competitive way in order to make sure that, remember, the objective, effectiveness is not just you must deliver the goals of organization and you must deliver the goals of self. Alright, I'll come back a bit. You have seen that nobody told me while I was going through the process, but some of you are now lucky in the sense that you are learning about it from the beginning. But it's important to note that office politics is not about employees alone. It's not about lower people. Let's remember, I defined effectiveness as, and we agreed, not just me defined, people, as delivering the goals of the organization and your own personal goals. Shouldn't you then do that is necessary, which on one side is training and development, and on that other side, social interaction that will enable you achieve the goal. Somebody said the issue is, he mentioned definition as efficient, and I use that word, as efficiently as possible. Correct? Are we agreed? Yes. So we are now on the list. I haven't asked again whether we should play or not to play. We'll come back to that question finally. So we have gotten here. I think I can leave this thing. So, what should we do? To play or not to play? Is there anybody who still has the belief that politics is something to look down? You have oh, Jeff is a PhD holder, and therefore he shouldn't be playing politics. You know, she is a facilitator a bit. What's the name of that? So, and you know, you have to remember what process you have to go through together. Should she be interacting with them? Shouldn't she be looking down on people? Do you understand? So is there any person, so if I disabuse the person's mind now, is there any person who still believes that office politics is something to look down on and shouldn't be played? Is there anybody? Are we all agreed that we should strike out not to play? Are we? Yeah. So, office politics is, for you to be effective, you necessarily must play politics. And I come to me as the person who had gone to the East, they told me, look for Mars. Whether you are below, you need to work with people to get the result delivered. Correct? Yes. And that's office politics. Whether you are above, you need to work with people. And there's something you guys, everybody must understand. What is this? Everybody has a limited span of control, of influence. You understand? So it is the person who differentiates himself that will go places, correct or not? It's the person. And if you differentiate yourself by backbiting, by gossiping about people, it's only for a short time, isn't it? But if you differentiate yourself by being positive, getting to your boss, and carrying your people along, wouldn't you go places? I was lucky that, well, if you don't do, I didn't do, but something did me. That's the luck I have. One cannot always be lucky, correct? Yes. One cannot always be lucky. And there's something I must let you know, which is, you must be deliberate. You must be, from day one, you enter into anything, whether it's your organization, you run, you own, or whatever it is, you must understand what you are doing. You must set out to go to where you are going to, okay? And what you necessarily need to do. Please, I know you are coming down, but just give me a moment. So, if you are going to do that, there is these two circles you need to determine. These are the circle of control. What are the things in my workplace, in the place I do business, that I can control? And then, what are the things that are outside my circle of control, but are of concern to me? These are things you need to work with. You can look up all those details. Well, in getting towards an end, you need to know that you have a choice. You need to know what you are trying to achieve. And never, ever get personal. Let me repeat. You may think you are making progress by pulling the other person down. People who pull people down never get to, they have a ceiling. But those who have been most helpful to me today are people that somewhere along the line I did a favor to. When something opens up, they remember me. I were a terrible person towards them, whether as their colleague or as their boss or whatever. Do you think they will remember me? They will sigh. All right? So we're almost there. You can read the other ones. And this. And thank you very much.